So today we are having our two, demo two for this business analyst training. We'll be meeting on Monday again for our third demo. Okay, and then we'll try to discover some more topics over these 2 days. So that is today on demo 2 and then on Monday on demo 3. Okay, try to have some of the general discussions, some of the common queries that are usually around the business analyst role. Okay, now before we get started, happy Republic to all of you guys. Okay, hope that you guys will would have already decided on where you want to go and what you want to celebrate. So I'll not take in much time for the day. Now, before you get started, again a quick reminder. Okay, this is the number that you can always refer to. This is the number from the Harsha Trainings coordinator. If you guys need more detail about the course, if you guys want to revisit any certain aspects for the course, or if you want to in general inquire about different options available to you, you can always reach out on this number. Okay, it's always good to get enrolled so that you can take out maximum benefits. Now, to get us started today, what we will discuss is a brief history of business analyst. Okay, how this business analyst role came into picture. Okay, that's something that always intrigues us. How did this humankind came into picture? How did we evolve into what we are today? History is always intriguing, so that is why we'll discuss about history of BA. Once we discuss about history of BA, then we will slowly go into things like responsibilities of a BA. Okay, this is again just to put a note over here. This is our demo 2. Okay. Once we go over these topics, what we will do is we'll have to leave something aside for demo 3 as well. So on demo 3, we will discuss about some of the common terms like what's the difference between a BA, sorry,
So the political
someone,
benefit, of course, of saying this is not America makes whatever the ultimate determination look like some kind of aberration.
okay. So what's the difference between a business analyst and a data analyst? A lot of time people get confused. So on demo 3, let's talk in more detail about these topics. Okay. Then AI, role of AI. So I'm just keeping it role of AI, artificial intelligence, whether it is going to replace a business analyst or is it going to aid a business analyst. So we will look at some of these terms on demo 3. So demo 3 will be on Monday. For now, that is our demo 2 class. Let's get started. What's the history part of BA? Okay, so how did this business analyst role came into picture? Now, initially, when the discussions were happening, okay, it's not that building softwares is a new thing. Building softwares is an old thing. Okay, it has been going on for ages now. Now, what happened is there are two key drivers that led to the creation of a role called business analyst. Okay, so we will look at these two key drivers. So let's look at key driver one, that is actually our history. Now, initially, whenever a customer has to build a software, what usually would happen is they would reach out to an organization. Okay, as of now, we'll not go into detail on how they approach an organization or how organizations get into project. that's a discussion that we have in detail during our course as well. So assume that you are a client, you wanted to build a software, and then you reached out to an organization that has expertise in building softwares. So what happened? Client, let's say, gets into an agreement with an IT organization to build a software. Now this IT organization, in earlier days, what used to happen is it would comprise of technical people. So what is the most important thing at that time? The organizations used to think like that: what is the most important thing for building a software? You should have technical knowledge. Okay, what is the technical knowledge? Coding skills. Okay, so you should have good coding skills in order to build a software. So IT organizations mainly had technical people. Okay, or for our simplicity sake, let's say it had people who can code. Now, one of the advantages of this scenario was that my client can directly interact with my technical team. My client can explain the requirements to the technical team. My technical team can then get started with building a software for the client. Okay, so what happened? I had some advantages over here, and my biggest advantage was on turnaround time. Okay, there was lesser turnaround time because my client is interacting directly with the developer, and my developer is can get started on building software as soon as possible. So my turnaround time was naturally less. Then when your turnaround time is less, you provide a building software early. You provide a working software early. So client was also happy that they got a working software early. So instead of getting something in 1 month, 2 months, now they're getting a software as early as possible, maybe in 2 weeks as well. Okay. Now, but this particular setup had more of disadvantages than advantages. Okay. Now, what were some of these uh, common disadvantages that were with this particular key driver one that we are discussing? Okay. Now we all know when development team works on it, and I'm not criticizing developers for it because they also have some work to do. Okay, so everyone has a defined role and responsibilities. So their developers' role and responsibility lies with the fact that they have to build a working software. So their main focus is on writing code and not on writing document. So that was the first biggest disadvantage, that was not creating documents. So today I have a team of 10 people. These 10 people were engaged in building a working software for my client. Okay. Tomorrow if client requires some changes, because these 10 people they know about the software, so they can only work on making those changes. Now, over time, what will happen is I will build dependency on these 10 people because these 10 people are the only one who know about the code. Why they are the only one? Because not enough documents were created ever. Okay, documents like what does my software do, what is the input condition, then what will be the output conditions, okay, what are the rules surrounding, because everything, my business rules, my input output conditions, everything is in the form of a code only. And a code can be understood by a developer. So there over time, because there wasn't enough documents created, so there was a lot of dependency on on people. Now we were more of people dependent rather than process dependent. And so that was my second problem or disadvantage when it came to this model, dependency on people, especially your coders. Now, because we did not create enough documents, so we all know what happens. Whenever we join any organization, we look for some KT, some knowledge transition that tell me what needs to be done. But if you don't have documents, how are you going to train the other person? Okay, I'm not saying that documents are the only thing required, but sometimes what happens is you may give someone a training for half an hour. But suppose if I don't give you notes, if I don't give you recordings, will you remember everything? Chances are you may remember few things, you may forget remaining things. But what if I give you training? On top of that training, I give you recordings, I give you the notes that are being prepared during the classes. So that way you can refer back to recordings and notes both. Now what happens is you may go back and try revising what you studied. While revising, if you feel there is some part that you are missing, okay, you can always refer back to recordings and notes. So that way you don't have to reach out to me every time on Rahul, what did you explain that day? What was that thing? Can you revise again? When you reach out to me every now and then asking to repeat, what happens is even the person may get frustrated. So because we did not have enough documents created, so no one actually had an idea on how this software is working. People who are involved in ground, people who are involved in giving requirements or creating the working software, they only know how the software is working. Anyone new who is introduced to the team, they may find it difficult to understand. Okay, so disadvantages, not enough documents were created, there were a lot of dependency on people, so training issues. Okay, because we you did not have enough documents, so how are you going to train someone? Today you have technology where you don't have to worry about space. Okay, I can record every single session that I am taking, and I don't have to worry about space, that I will run out of space if I start recording everything. Okay, I know I have enough space available that I can keep or retain my recordings. But that was not the case during those days, so you don't have an option of recording everything as well. So naturally you don't have enough documents, you cannot record everything. So whenever new people were introduced to the team, they naturally had issues around training as well, that how am I going to train these people? Now, one key disadvantage that actually led was that a lot of these softwares were not user friendly. Okay, when I as a developer, when I am building a working software, my focus is on getting the functionality. Okay, I may not be thinking about whether that functionality will be user friendly or not. Okay, I'm just repeating, when I'm building a software, my focus is on getting the functionality implemented and not around whether that functionality will be user friendly or not. Okay, so again, I'm not criticizing developers through these points, but this was not part of their job, let's say. Okay, their job was to build a software. Even today also, you have a team called UI UX, user interface, user experience team. Some of the bigger organizations, they try to have UI UX teams. So these teams help you help you design the websites. Okay, they understand that a developer or a business analyst may not be equipped with enough knowledge to design a website. So let's have UI UX team that understand human sentiments, that understands how to make a website more user friendly, and then they give you the design. Basis that design, now my developer can start coding. Okay, so there was one more thing that we will see, what a key driver too, that even made these softwares not so user friendly. But as of now, these were these were my key disadvantages. Now, naturally, over time, these disadvantages became overwhelming. Okay. Now, organizations were growing. They were having employees in thousands of numbers. So naturally, they wanted good training system. They wanted to keep more and more dependency on process rather than people. That today, if suppose X person goes out of my organization, it should not impact my organization. No one like to be in a spot where I am dependent on one or two handful of people. Okay? People want to ensure that even if those two people leave the organization and two new comes in, my organization should work smoothly. Okay, now that can only happen when you bring in a culture where documents are created. Okay, where people are aware of what is happening, where you are building websites which are user friendly, where you have sufficiently required training support, training materials are also there, and where you have dependency on process and not on people. So that was one factor which actually led to the creation of a role of business analyst, that I can have a person, okay, who will talk to client. Okay, when my developer goes to client, my developer goes with a mindset of building a functionality, writing a code. Okay, so a developer may not be equipped enough to build rapport or relationship with client. A developer may be least concerned about building a relationship with client. Why? Developer thinks that I need to get the work done. Okay. So that was again one more disadvantage, was building a rapport with clients. Now, my BA, business analyst, will be working closely with the client, trying to build a rapport or relationship with the client so that we continue to get more work. Okay. Initially, you can put effort, you can reach to the top, you can be successful, but in order to remain successful, you have to keep doing new things. So I can convince client to give me the work to build their software, but I need to ensure that even future or further enhancements to the software come to me only, so that I continue to get more work. So that was one of the responsibilities where developers were lacking, that building rapport with client. Now, while these things were happening, another driver was the so my technological landscape was changing. Earlier, earlier there was, before internet, there was nothing called a website. Okay, everything needs to be done by visiting that office only. Okay, there was no way you can get things done at the comfort of your home. Now when internet when internet became popular, when websites became new normal, and nowadays mobile applications have become new normal. Okay, so now you want your mobile applications or websites, because the technical landscape has been changing. So you want them to be as user friendly as possible. Okay, coming back to the same user friendly point. I don't want my customers to feel that it is so difficult to use this particular application or website. So let me open up, let's say Amazon for that example. Now, if I go to Amazon's website, I I may find it difficult, given suppose if I have to go through suppose I have to buy mobile phones. Okay, now I go through this categories, and then here I have to search, okay, which category, okay, this mobile phone category, and then again under there they have several other categories. So let's say I want all mobile phones, and you see in 3 clicks I'm able to reach to the mobile phone section. But what is even more amazing is I have this search bar. I can simply use search bar. I am at the home page. I can simply use the search bar, and I can say, let's say OnePlus. Okay, and it directly took me to the page that I was looking for. Okay, so now it is showing me results for these OnePlus phones. Okay, so that's how you make your applications user friendly. Number one is how many clicks are basically needed to reach to that page. Or nowadays if you see, most of the organizations, they provide you with this search feature so that you can type in and get to the required page quickly. Okay, so earlier it was not something like this. So a lot of these applications were not so user friendly. Now the technological landscape has been changing. Everyone wants to retain customers, so there is lot of focus on building applications that are user friendly. And that's why I told some of the organizations, they have specific UI UX team. Okay, so let me just write it down here. UI UX stand for user interface, user experience, because these guys are considered as experts in ensuring building user friendly user interfaces. Okay. Now, my second driver, technological landscape has been changing. Now we are building even much more complex applications because the technology is allowing us to get into or solve some of the even more complex problems like insurance related, health insurance, okay, even artificial intelligence related. So we are getting into, or we are venturing into the areas of complexity now because the technology is allowing us to do these things. So again, these two key drivers, they actually led us to creation of a separate role for BA. These two key drivers, they demanded a separate role to handle all the work that is needed. That nowadays it is very important to build rapport with clients. If client is happy, you continue to get more work. You need someone who can talk to client in their own language. A developer may talk in technical terms which client may not understand, or client may talk in at a high level, and a developer doesn't want that high level language. A developer wants little bit of technical language so that they can build a working software. Okay, so there was naturally a gap. And if you guys remember, when we were having our demo one day before yesterday, you guys mentioned that a business analyst is trying to bridge that gap. Okay, they interact with client at high level, they interact with developers at low level as in with technical details. Okay, so in a nutshell, they are trying to ensure that they build a good rapport or relationship with the client so that we continue to get more work out of them. Okay, now one more thing is, as a business analyst, you are ensuring that we are creating enough documents. Documentation is not the first priority for a business analyst. First priority is definitely meeting with clients, getting the information. But what happens is once you have the information, once you know what your requirement is, then what you do is you start putting that requirement in the form of a documentation. Okay, you don't simply take the requirement and ping to your developer that this is the requirement, start coding. Okay, you start creating that document, and that document is then used as single source of truth. Okay, this is the document we share with the client, and this is the same document if client agrees, if client provide their sign off, this is the same document that we share with the development team as well. Okay, so that they can start working on creating a working software. Now what has happened over time, suppose if you guys resign or if I resign from the organization, but because I have a requirement document in place, if new person comes in, it becomes easy for the person to understand what the application is, what are the different rules regarding the application, how the application will process different type of data. Okay, so even though I may not have the technical skill set to understand the code or to know the code or to deduce the information out of code, but because I can understand English, I can look at the document and I can see what the application is all about. So if there are any modifications needed to the application, I can very well work on it. Okay, so I'm removing dependencies from the people because I'm creating enough documents. Okay, documents that highlight or capture the goal and the vision of my working software. Okay, at the same time, I'm building good rapport with the clients to ensure that they remain happy. If they remain happy, they continue to give us more work over time. Okay, guys, any questions that you guys have so far? This is our demo 3. So let me just put a marker over here that this will be discussed on Monday's class. So as I discussed earlier, since we have will be meeting on Monday as well, so we'll cover our next topic, that is responsibilities of BA. So naturally, when you create any role in the organization, you assign some responsibilities to them. Okay, you don't just create a role for the sake of creating role. Whenever you create a role, or whenever you hire someone, you naturally want them to do something. Okay, so when the role of BA was also created, it was also created with certain fixed mindset, but then the good thing is over time the role of BA has evolved as well. Okay, so maybe earlier business analyst was, let's say, interacting with customers. Now, these interaction methods might have changed. Okay, new tools have come in. So earlier, uh, when we had Skype, there was no such a recording feature. But then now you have lot of collaboration tools that come with recording feature. So you can record your meetings with the customers or the clients. So that way you can always refer back to them. But earlier there was like lot of focus on meeting with customers or client in person. Okay, nowadays with the advancement of technology, with this technological landscape changing, what has happened is now we are able to meet virtually, like how you and I are meeting now. Okay, we are meeting virtually, but the common theme still remains, and that common theme is interaction. So in future, you may meet with customers through, let's say, some new tool, some new feature, but the theme will remain same. That is, you continue to interact with your customers or clients to gather something called as information. Okay, this information can be translated into your requirements. Okay, so that was the one basic responsibility given, and then the second one was keep your customer happy. Okay, keep your customer happy, keep your clients happy, so that we continue to extract more work out of them. So technically speaking, they were given task to build rapport. Okay, then the second thing was improve the way we document, because people have realized we are venturing into complex areas, and we don't want to venture into these complex areas without any documents. Okay, no one is here for permanent. The only thing permanent is change, and it is always better that we document these things. The more we document, the better it will be for us. Okay, so improve the way we document, even though agile came, but agile never says that we should not document. Now, though it was these three things that may have started this, but now over time what has happened is a BA is expected to be a leader as well. Okay, what is this leader? Now you get involved with multiple teams or multiple peoples, and then try to get the work done through. Okay, you don't come back and say that okay, developer is not writing the code, or I'm not able to meet with client. As a leader, you are supposed to be driving the work plus finding solutions. Okay, that's what leaders do. They ensure that teams are meeting together. So even though I may not have the technical knowledge, let's say my client is complaining that my website is not secure enough, please ensure that my website is secure enough. Now I may not have the required skill set or knowledge to identify what security algorithm should we use, how to use it, and what will be the best one for the client. But I definitely know that I have some technical people available in my team. So I have technical architects, I have lead developers. I can certainly set up a meeting, go out and discuss with them. So what I am doing is I am driving the work. Instead of telling that I don't have technical knowledge, I am trying to get involved with people, find a solution, and then once the solution has been found, notify the client. Okay, so that's what you as business analyst will be expected to do as well on ground. Okay, that is, rather than saying this is not my area of expertise, how can I fulfill that? Okay, remember, not everything has to be known by us. We don't have to be the master of everything. Okay, but at the same time we don't want to be the jack of all trades. What we want is, we want to ensure that we know good people, we know people who have the required knowledge and the skill set, who can help us find solution. So we have to act as leader, we have to ensure that we are driving the work, we take the input from the client, we find out right set of people, we collaborate with them, we keep driving the work because we want to get the work done. So we have to show that enthusiasm. Okay, only then others will also be interested. If we lack energy, if we don't show the enthusiasm, others will also be lacking energy. Now, next thing that obviously communication became a key. Initially, communication was more about interacting with customers, getting the requirement. Nowadays, communication has become an integral part almost at all stages, whether it is about gathering requirements, whether it is about communicating those requirements with client or development team, or whether it is about giving demo or review to the client. Okay, communication has become a special communication has been a special feature so far. Okay, and that's why there will be lot of emphasis on how you communicate, because there will be lot of phases of this, whether you are gathering requirement, whether you are communicating requirements, or whether you are giving demo or review to the client. So when we go through the course, okay, from my personal experience, from my actually professional experience so far, I'll give you guys some of the insights into how to conduct meetings, how to write notes, how to write action items, and how do we follow up on those as well. Okay, it's not a rocket science, but just to make it much more effective, because we will be communicating, we'll be interacting with lot of people. So we want to ensure that if we are giving half an hour or 1 hour to someone, that half an hour or 1 hour should be productive enough. Okay, we should not feel like we just went there and we didn't learn anything. So how do we make our things much more interactive? Okay, sorry, much more productive. Any questions so far, guys? Okay, so these were the two topics that I wanted to discuss with you, and then there are a bunch of topics that we'll discuss on Monday. Okay, again, just revisiting what we are going to discuss on Monday. That will be our demo 3 on Monday. So that is demystifying business analyst versus a data analyst. A data analyst could also be termed as a BDA, that is a business data analyst. A lot of people get confused over here, okay, and then they have overlapping questions between the two. So we'll do that. And second, how is the role of AI changing changing the way a BA works? Okay, and then the third topic that we will be discussing is that people often see is a Scrum Master or Project Manager versus BA. Okay, because both are non-coding roles. Because both are non-coding roles, so people often wonder: should we go into Scrum Master or Project Manager? Should we go into BA? Is BA the same thing as Scrum Master or Project Manager? Are they the different thing? So we will be going to discuss on these items as well on Monday. Okay. Now, as promised with you guys earlier, I'll not hold you guys for long today. So we had our two key topics covered as discussed in the starting of the meeting. Please make a note of this mobile number. You can reach out using WhatsApp. You can even directly call on this number to get further assistance with the course, to get enrolled to the course. Okay, we have lot of interesting stuff added to the course, and it will be really beneficial to continue this journey forward. Okay, it's good that you guys have decided or pursued interest in business analyst, but it will be even better if we can continue forward our journey. Now, hope you guys have a wonderful weekend ahead. Happy Republic Day. We'll meet on Monday at the same time, 8:30 a.m. IST.